Hello and welcome back, and if you're new to this channel, thanks for checking it out. Well, today it's absolutely pouring with rain. There's a lot of wind, and you could argue there's very little value being out filming in it. But I'm just going to somewhere where it's the closest tour to me and I can walk to it in around about an hour. So, you know, it's somewhere I frequent quite a lot, but you know, I don't think I've actually put it on camera for you guys. I will come back on a better day, but today I'm just going to let you have a quick little flavour of what it's about. And indeed, if you want to be outdoors in North Cornwall this time of year, this is what you can expect. Well, there it is, and that's the tour we're going to go up. It's not particularly high. I call it a baby tour, but it still has the title of tour at the end of its name, so you know it is legitimate, but it sits in the shadow of the higher ones behind it. Well, I've just come to a small little patch in the hedge here where I can look over to it. I'm still on a trackway, as you can see, or a lane, and it's got better views. There is a little bit of blue sky behind it, but that's only fleeting. It's grey skies, wind and rain all the way today, and I'll just talk you through it as we look at it. So there is a lot of archaeological sites up there, and indeed, you know, they range through the whole spectrum that Bodmin Moor has. You know, prehistoric, Neolithic, Bronze, Iron Age, it's all there. And indeed, it's been worked and quarried and mined. And there is still some, I think, quarrying work that goes on the other side of the actual tour. But that's on private property, you can't really go there. But as you can see, there's private fields in front of it, but we're going to make our way around the flank on a public footpath and then gain access to the top of the tour through a trackway. Now the footpath I'm actually on is one I use quite a bit actually, because it takes me to other tracks and indeed other routes I use quite extensively really. And so yeah, this footpath here, although it does become boggy and flooded, is one that yeah, I do use a lot. So I've got a cheap set of waterproofs, and they're just about up to the task in weather conditions like this. Anything more, I would need my heavier Gore-Tex ones. But I'm trying to travel light on this little walk stroke hike, and you know, these come off and go on, or you can put them on and off relatively quick, and they weigh next to nothing. The only thing I would say with that, they really need to be bought in possibly a size or a size above, so they don't sit tight to your underlaying clothes. In that way, you know, they will shed the water and not transfer it to your inner layers. So it's possibly something to bear in mind if you're buying cheap ones. They really need to be a size above. So I've ended up in a small little wooded copse, and it's of hazel, majority of it is, and we're going to now be picking our way through it and heading up. So let's continue. You will find there's a lot of granite stones, loose ones and big ones, and quite a lot hiding underneath the undergrowth. So, you know, trips, slips and falls have to be accounted for, and you have to move with a little bit of caution. Right, I've left that little wooded bit, and it was a very small bit, and I'm following the track. And I've got to go through this here and not get spiked as I do so. But you can see the track now has loose bits of stone here. So like I was saying to you, you know, watch your footing, particularly in conditions like this. And don't be surprised if you come face to face with cattle or sheep and have to give way, because this track is predominantly used by them as well. And as you can see, we're going to be working our way up through this for a moment. It is not steep, not far, so it's perfectly doable, this little tour. And we seem to be escaping the wind. But that's only because we're coming around a different side of the tour at the moment. Right, we've got a little bit more wind as predicted. I'm walking in wellies, and I have done for 2 or 3 of my walks now. They're not the ideal walking footwear, they really aren't. And I will state that more than anybody else. My preference is boots over the new trail runners and things like that that a lot of people kind of look to use. But the pair I've got are actually comfortable. They don't offer a lot of support, and you'd soon roll an ankle if you weren't careful. So yeah, I would still recommend boots, like hiking boots, or a good solid pair of boots, you know, where you can lace them up tight. I must get out of the habit, because it's only really my laziness that I can put these on and they feel comfortable. Couple pairs of socks, you know, but no, I don't recommend boots. But in any case, I'm going to let you have a look at the higher tours. So there's a sharp tor looming above us, and like I said, this is a baby tor, and it sits in the shadow of this tor itself. But you know, it's still a tor, like I was saying to you, and you know, it's the closest one to me. And I'm just making my way around now. I've got a nice bit of ground here, a bit of grass, and it's levelled off. But I do know I'll be taking a right hand turn and then going back uphill. I've just got to find it. Thing is, it grows over so quick, so you know, you are reliant on actually the sheep and cattle keeping the path open for yourself. It's a perfect example. You can see the cattle have broken new trail there going up through the bracken, and in some cases you rely on that. And here we have Old Man's Beard, or as what I've been told it is, or is called, or I've always called it Old Man's Beard. It is deceptive which pathway you take, and you know, they do change. Like I say, they get overgrown and then cattle cut a new one. But I'm going to take this one here. It looks the most used and viable, and memory serves me right, this is one I usually use. Like I say, these trees and bushes, they all get stunted. The wind really keeps them down. They don't get the opportunity to grow. The wind literally hammers them to pieces up here. As you reach the top, you come across large granite boulders. Right, I'm following this track, which I do know takes me around to the side of the tour, And it takes me to a little bit of a wooded area with more granite boulders, and you just have to scrabble up a little bit to reach the higher points. But yeah, I've got to now try and find my way through. I'm following this trail, but it just feels like it's going a little bit too much further down now, but I'll stick with it. Well, it's done a double back on myself, and you can see all the granite boulders and even the ones up in the trees. I'm being buffeted by wind, but you can't help that. It's just the conditions. I've still got to get myself to the top. Yeah, it's pretty impressive how these old trees here, and they're oak, cling to life, putting their roots down through these granite stones. And far off into the distance, many miles away, on a clear day, you can see Plymouth and Plymouth Sound. Right, if you're thinking I'm zigzagging around on this hillside, yes I am. And basically the gorse grows so fast, and if not many people come here, it alters the tracks. There's a few well established ones the cattle use, and it's looking like I've picked up what possibly is the one I usually use. I've gone a little bit further on that one. The bracken behind me has been rolled over, so a lot of evidence cattle have been through it, so I'm going to continue following this one. I am actually going up, even though it's at a very slow pace. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought too many people have been here since I last came up. I think it almost feels like I'm bushwhacking and forging my own trail here at the moment. There, we'll continue making our way up this little bit of gradient, and I think this is absolutely the pinnacle or top. It is, and I'll get on top. Let's go around. Right, stand on top. So if I can get my leg up, I might have to just crawl up. Oh, yeah. There you go. How about that for a view? I'll give you a 360. Excuse the wind. Look at that. Well, I'm just going to find a big enough stone to crawl behind and have my coffee and a snack, you know, out of the wind. But behind me is a massive quarry. It's an old quarry. This one's not worked, it's flooded. But I'll let you have a look, and you can see this side of the hill has been quarried in the past. If you look down there and through the branches, you'll see the quarry walls, and they are extremely high, and obviously it goes down into the water. I can't get too close to the edge, it's unstable. Plus the landowner, very sensibly, has put an electric fence running along its entirety to stop his cattle and sheep going over, particularly when it gets misty and foggy. But I'll just follow along a little bit further. You can see where the cattle and sheep have tracked around the outside the quarry. You can probably see it down there now a little bit better, but it's absolutely huge. This must have been a really big enterprise at some point. Well, I'm going to follow this track, and it looks like there's a little bit of shelter, and well, in behind these old little oak trees and a few boulders. I just want my coffee, like I said, and then I'll continue making my way. I've just got to hope that the cattle and sheep haven't used it to this well, what I want to use it for, and have left piles of dung. And incidentally, all great minds think alike, eh? They've used it. But I'm going to crawl in under this rock here and have a cup of coffee. Well, I don't think I'm the only one that's attempting to use this. I think it's been made a home by a fox or possibly a badger, but there's a hole running right underneath this granite boulder, and it goes down far. It's bigger than what a rabbit or anything like that would use, so I'll let you have a quick little look. Someone's using it as a home. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see, you know, or identify where there's a track coming out, and yeah, like you say, it's home for something. Now, if it was to actually rain, or you was in a survival situation, something like this would become your friend up here. All that ground is dry in there where we've had all this rain and the wind, and indeed down here I'm not being buffeted by the wind. The tree above me's got a little bit of wind rustling through it, but this is a nice little sheltered area, and this is the type of area in a survival situation you would be looking for. And yeah, in that vein, I'm going to have my coffee. I'm not in a survival situation, but I'm just saying, you know, these are the kind of things ultimately that you would look for out of the wind, out of the elements. It's pretty much ready made for you. I mean, and if you wanted to, you could make another lean-to wall here, but ultimately you've got a roof, you've got a sides. It's already dry, even though we've had the rain, and yeah, you could make something that could be considered a survival shelter pretty much, and it's pretty much ready made for you. But yeah, I've got to have my coffee, and then I've got to head off home because I've got dog walking to do, our new puppy. So we're going to get out and start socialising that particular dog. But yeah, this has been great, just what I've needed. And you know, ultimately with the wind it might make, you know, frustrating viewing, but it does add the realism to it, and it does add ultimately, sorry to say, the true authentic Cornish experience of windy, rainy weather. And this is what you're going to get if you come here at this time of the year and fancy doing a little bit of what I do. Right, I'm going to draw this to a close and I'm going to make my way home. And, you know, all that's left for me to say is this is Andy from Hidden Valley Footpaths. Stay safe, and I hope to catch you out on the trail.